Tonight, a journey unlike any other awaits, a gentle cascade into restfulness and wonder. Before venturing into forgotten worlds, gently allow every trace of worry to drift away. In this space, there is no obligation to fulfill, no lingering duty left undone. Here, the only invitation is to surrender, to yield, to simply exist within the embrace of softness and peace. Ease into the gentle cradle of bedding, feeling the fabric welcome every contour, and the air around restful limbs grow serene. As the eyes drift shut and the mind slows, notice the hush that grows, the tranquil rhythm of breath, the subtle weight of calm pressing down as anxiety is washed away. Each inhalation is a slow swelling of gentle warmth. With every exhale, tension cascades outward and dissolves into the quiet night. Begin with the feet, imagining gentle waves of comfort rolling upward from the toes. Let warmth spread, coaxing every muscle to soften and release, flowing into the soles, the heels, and higher still. With every breath, the wave rises, cresting through the calves and relaxing the shins, the knees, and thighs. Gravity tugs gently. The limbs grow heavier, surrendering every tightness. Next, let attention wander to the hips and lower spine, bathed in the radiant inner glow of contentment. Each inhalation draws in softness, and each exhalation invites any lingering pressure to fade. The stomach lifts and recedes with the gentle rhythm of breath. The chest opens and expands, letting go of weariness, inviting ease and fullness into every cell. With deliberate patience, scan from the shoulders downward, letting invisible burdens dissolve. Arms sink into relaxation, elbows loosen, hands and fingers rest quietly upon the covers. In the neck and jaw, countless muscles soften, and any last edge of strain slips away. Face, brow, scalp. Each feature relaxes, any tension dissolves, replaced by gentle tranquility. One last, deep breath, and the body is fully stilled, wholly soothed, suspended in a calm that feels as ancient as the ocean at midnight. Tonight's voyage beckons, a passage through legend, memory, and myth. Let the mind glide easily along a stream of dream, unhurried, receptive, and curious. Release worldly thoughts, welcoming instead the beginning of a tale whispered by the winds of ages. There once existed a kingdom cradled by the boundless embrace of the sea, a place where daylight eternally painted the water in hues of blazing blue and soft gold. Atlantis, its name woven through centuries of mystery, called to dreamers and seekers, both in waking life and in sleep. Where ordinary cities sprawled across the land, Atlantis soared in concentric rings, each circle fashioned by visionary hands and the blessing of ancient gods. 3 perfect rings of cultivated earth, each encircled by a shining, man-made canal. Stone bridges, carved from the brightest marble, formed elegant arcs ribbons, stretching above water sparkling in the sunlight. At midday, the reflections shimmered in countless colors, turning water into sapphire and gold. At the city's heart rose a temple beyond imagining, the sanctuary of Poseidon, origin of all that Atlantis embodied. The temple walls gleamed with polished silver. Atop its towers, gold blazed fiercely, catching every sunbeam. Grandeur and grace mingled in silent harmony, long colonnades of precious stone leading to a chamber where the patron god was honored. Giants sculpted in his likeness stood guardian, lifelike, formidable, echoing the power of their domain. Outside the sacred enclosure, proud figures in stone gazed over the city, the sons and daughters of Poseidon, mortal rulers conceived through divine union. Their carved visages preserved the memory of Atlantis' earliest kings, whose wisdom, strength, and beauty shone like the stars. Beyond the temple's gleam, city life unfolded vibrantly. Towers like stone candles stretched upward. Market squares echoed with laughter and the energetic hum of trade, and the aromas of spices, rare silks, and abundant harvests mingled in the gentle wind. Gardens overflowed, and flowers spilled color into every alley. The perfume of citrus, wild blossom, and distant salt air mixed, saturating palace corridors and sweeping terraces. Atlantis was ringed by broad, fertile plains, fields glowing with golden wheat, and undulating vineyards weighed down by grapes. River veins snaked through the landscape, their waters nourishing crops and orchards rich with figs and pomegranates. Animals, some never known in other lands, grazed contentedly beneath vast skies painted by the dying light. Its people were the heart of every legend, clever, resourceful, and strong. Among them moved artists, architects, philosophers, and inventors of machines not seen elsewhere. Wooden ships, adorned with bronze and commanding billowing white sails, explored the uncharted world. Prosperity flowered. As it did, so too did power, extending far beyond the island's gentle shores. Installment 1 complete. The journey continues in the next message, expanding the myth and forging a fully unique retelling toward your requested word count. Now, as the tale unfolds, a subtle transformation began within the bright and ordered city. With every advance and conquest, Atlantis's wealth grew, and with it a new shadow greed, creeping pride, and restless ambition. The Atlanteans, once content in their harmony with gods and nature, became enthralled by power, seeking dominance over foreign lands and forgetting the sacred origins that had once blessed their realm. Temples rose even higher as tributes to authority and splendor rather than gratitude for the divine. Ornate statues loomed over increasingly lavish gatherings, standing in silent reproach. The hearts of kings and artisans became restless. A yearning for greatness soon outpaced the reverence that had kept Atlantis in thoughtful balance. Still, the city pressed onward, each day richer and more ambitious than the last. But the gods watched this slow unraveling from their sky throne. Poseidon, long the city's protector, looked down with sorrow as Atlantean glory was twisted by pride. The ancient order was disrupted, and in time, Zeus himself weighed the fate of the beacon in the sea. The judgment was swift, rooted not in vengeance, but in the disappointment of promise undone. As legend tells, the sky darkened, as if draped in mourning. Storm clouds gathered, and thunder rolled across the horizon like the march of ancient armies. The earth quaked beneath the stones, trembling in response to the anguish of the heavens. Waves, once gentle, grew into mountains of water, pounding relentlessly upon marble bridges and market squares. The canals overflowed, fierce tides sweeping through the sunlit city. Palaces shuddered, statues toppled, and gardens were swallowed by torrents. Mountains cracked, rivers churned, and in one shattering final gesture, Atlantis descended slowly, then swiftly below the thrashing waves. The storm's fury faded only when all that remained was silence. The sea was calm again, but the world beneath it had changed, lost to time and memory. There, beneath the surface, Atlantis lingered as an echo. Its legacy did not vanish, but was woven into the fabric of stories, whispered by the ocean and carried in the dreams of those who listened to the world's mysteries. Some would say the city was erased as punishment. Others declare its wisdom and beauty endure, pulsing in the heart of every seeker and every civilization, awakened by the touch of imagination. And so, the myth survived, reappearing in the words of the wise and the curious. Foremost among those who immortalized Atlantis was Plato, the philosopher and teacher whose ideas shaped the course of Western thought. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Atlantis became more than a mere city. It became an allegory, a warning, and a hope. Plato did not insist his story be accepted as truth, nor did he state plainly that it was fiction. To some, the omission was a mystery ripe for debate. For others, it became a bridge between history and myth, fact and dream. His audience, schooled in the ways of philosophy and myth-making, saw not just a cautionary tale, but a profound lesson in the dangers of hubris and the inevitable reckoning that follows prideful excess. The philosopher's words endured long after the echo of his own life faded, spreading like ripples through the worlds of Rome and beyond. Atlantis was adopted by new generations of thinkers, artists, and dreamers, each adding new meaning and new color to the story. In their hands, the legend continued to grow, shifting over centuries as the tides of belief and knowledge washed through the annals of human experience. Centuries passed after the fall of Atlantis, yet the story wove its way through the fabric of human memory, not merely as folklore, but as a parable echoed in shadow and light. The tale of this lost kingdom awoke anew during the Middle Ages, a time when mystery and faith shaped the imaginations of many. Maps were redrawn and horizons extended, as explorers dared to seek lands that whispered promises of forgotten grandeur. Among the tales brought back by sailors were murmurings of shimmering islands hidden beyond veils of mistlands rich with wonders and treasures, places where the splendor of the ancient world might still persist beneath the waves or beyond mortal reach. By the time the Renaissance dawned, Atlantis was no longer confined to ancient scrolls, but had become a symbol of possibility and peril alike, a testament to achievements and pride, to the fragile balance between wisdom and hubris. Philosophers, artists, and scientists began to reimagine Atlantis, weaving it into new stories where enlightenment and exploration walked hand in hand. Francis Bacon, the eminent thinker who championed reason and observation, gave birth to a vision of Atlantis not as a doomed empire, but as a utopia where faith and science embraced. His new Atlantis portrayed a realm where knowledge unlocked miracles, where the prosperity of mind and body flourished without the shadows of greed or oppression. Here, great libraries held the accumulated wisdom of the ages, towering halls rang with the hum of invention, and medicine banished diseases that once plagued humanity. This Atlantis was a dream of what humankind could achieve when guided by harmony and wisdom, a sharp contrast to the pride that had doomed its predecessor. The legend continued to evolve through centuries, touching the imaginations of writers like Jules Verne, who plunged beneath the sea with Captain Nemo to gaze upon the silent ruins. Verne transformed Atlantis into a poignant reminder of nature's power and human ambition's limits, a submerged relic where the grandeur of lost civilization lay enshrined beneath layers of sand and seaweed. Yet, despite advances in science and exploration, the ocean's depths kept many secrets well hidden. The mystery of Atlantis refused to fade, spurring modern adventurers and scholars alike to seek proof of its existence. Tales of underwater structures, enigmatic stone formations, and forgotten ruins fueled theories and discoveries around the world, from the Caribbean's turquoise waters to the Mediterranean's ancient shores. The Bimini Road, discovered beneath the Bahamas' surface, became a focal point of hope and debate. Was it natural formation or a fragment of the lost city's magnificent architecture? Scientific scrutiny tempered some enthusiasm, but could not extinguish the enduring allure of a sunken kingdom waiting patiently to reveal its secrets. Atlantis, in essence, remains a bridge between worlds, between myth and reality, dream and history. It calls to the dreamers who believe in lost paradises and hidden treasures, to the seekers who chase the mysteries beneath waves, and to the thinkers who see in its story a timeless lesson about pride, power, and the enduring human spirit. And so, the question lingers still. What does Atlantis mean today? Is it a memory of a civilization that once was, a metaphor for our flaws and hopes, or a beacon inspiring us towards a better future? As long as these questions arise, Atlantis will continue to live, not just beneath the sea, but forever just beneath the surface of imagination itself. Throughout the centuries, as humanity's knowledge of the world grew, so too did the curiosity about Atlantis, not only as legend, but as a possible reality, waiting to be uncovered beneath the waves. Modern explorers and scholars have proposed many theories about where Atlantis might have existed, sparking debates that blend science, history, and imagination. Some suggest that Atlantis lay in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, perhaps near the Azores Islands. This theory leans on ancient writings that describe Atlantis as a grand island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the modern Strait of Gibraltar. The Azores archipelago, rising mysteriously from ocean depths, has been seen as fragments of the lost continent, remnants of a sunken world that once stood proud and mighty. These islands tantalize explorers with underwater formations and echoes of vanished landscapes. Others point to the Mediterranean Sea, proposing that the fabled Atlantis was in fact a real place, akin to the island of Thera, modern Santorini. This island was devastated by a massive volcanic eruption thousands of years ago, an event so catastrophic that it reshaped civilizations and possibly gave rise to the Atlantis myth. Around Thera lie submerged ruins and geological scars, evoking the image of a powerful civilization swallowed by fiery wrath, nature's harsh judgment on hubris. Across the ocean, further hypotheses place Atlantis in the lush highlands of South America, on the Altiplano Plateau nestled among the Andes. The plateau's vast size, strange ancient stone constructions, and indigenous wisdom recall echoes of an advanced civilization lost to time. Some scholars and enthusiasts argue that the cultural and architectural achievements of pre-Columbian peoples carry traces of Atlantean heritage, passed through generations as silent legacies. Among the most fascinating and speculative ideas ties Atlantis to the infamous Bermuda Triangle, a stretch of ocean notorious for unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft. Conspiracy theories flourish here, imagining Atlantis as more than a lost city, a submerged realm inhabited by descendants of the Atlanteans, possibly harnessing ancient technologies or mystical forces to control the seas above. Though these theories lack scientific support, their mystery continues to captivate the public imagination. Scientific inquiry, however, remains cautious. No definitive archaeological or geological evidence has confirmed the existence of Atlantis as described by Plato. The story, many scholars argue, is a moral allegory crafted by Plato himself, a narrative to illustrate the consequences of pride and the downfall of civilizations that lose their way. Despite numerous expeditions and modern technology like sonar mapping and underwater archaeology, Atlantis remains elusive, suspended between myth and the ocean's vast depths. Yet the allure persists. The legend of Atlantis continues to inspire exploration, scientific investigations, and even spiritual reflection. It challenges humanity to ponder its origins, its limits, and the fragile beauty of civilizations vulnerable to their own greatness. As time moved beyond the Renaissance, the allure of Atlantis shifted from ancient philosophy into the realm of adventure, speculation, and scientific inquiry. The world had changed, oceans had been charted, new continents claimed, and human curiosity burned brighter than ever. Yet beneath that bright flame of progress lay a deep yearning, always to uncover what might be hidden, waiting in the shadows of history and mystery. Among the bravest were explorers who, armed with diving gear and underwater sonar, began to scan the ocean floors with unprecedented precision. Across the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, reports surfaced of strange formations, long straight lines and rectangles of stone that did not seem entirely natural. These anomalies, while often dismissed by some scientists as natural geological phenomena, ignited imaginations around the globe. One of the most famous discoveries was the so-called Bimini Road, an underwater rock formation off the coast of the Bahamas. The stones formed an eerie, almost grid-like path stretching for hundreds of feet beneath the turquoise sea. Early on, conspiracy theorists and believers in Atlantis pointed to the Bimini Road as proof, positive remnants of the lost city's legendary canals, pathways, or wall foundations. Excited divers and explorers descended repeatedly to examine and map the site, hoping eagerly to reveal the secrets of the Atlanteans. Stories spread far and wide. But skepticism prevailed in the scientific community, where geological surveys indicated that the Bimini Road was likely a natural occurrence shaped by the slow, patient work of wave erosion and sedimentation. Yet the debate continues, carrying with it the spirit of discovery and the hope that one day the true Atlantis might rise once more from the depths of sea and time. Beyond the Caribbean, there are numerous other underwater sites surrounded by similar mysteries. Off Cuba lie submerged pyramidal structures covered in coral and silence. Underneath the Mediterranean waves, researchers dive near ancient sunken cities, submerged by shifting coastlines and rising waters after the last ice age. Each new exploration fans the flames of wonder and speculation, adding layers to the centuries-old tapestry of the Atlantis myth. Modern technology has equipped humanity with tools that once belonged only to dreams. Multi-beam sonar mapping, underwater drones, and deep-sea robotics let us peer into the abyssal plains and underwater mountain ranges. Fascinatingly, many of these deep ocean features remain largely unexplored, their vastness a silent invitation for future explorers. The search for Atlantis is about more than archaeological evidence. It holds powerful symbolic meaning, a manifestation of humanity's quest to uncover origins, to connect with civilizations lost but not forgotten. It reminds us of the fragility of greatness and the cycles of rise, despair, and renewal that mark history's great arcs. Nevertheless, scientific skepticism persists. Despite extensive exploration, no definitive archaeological evidence has been found that unambiguously identifies Atlantis as a real city. Most historians and scientists regard the story as allegorical, cautioning that it serves as a mythic framework reflecting human nature, culture, and life lessons instead of factual history. Still, for every skeptic, there is a dreamer who believes Atlantis is out there waiting to be discovered. Whether hidden beneath layers of sand and ocean, or alive in the stories and inspirations of humankind, Atlantis continues to capture hearts and minds, an eternal whisper from the depths, calling us back to wonder. And yet, just as the waves conceal countless secrets, so too does Atlantis guard one mystery even deeper than its submerged ruins, one that stretches beyond the boundaries of time and reason. In recent years, whispers have emerged from unexpected quarters, from the deep scientists exploring oceanic trenches, and from enigmatic figures studying ancient texts long forgotten in dust-covered libraries. These voices speak not just of a sunken city, but of a phenomenon and echo of Atlantis that transcends mere geography. They claim that Atlantis was not only a physical place, but also a repository of knowledge so profound it embodied a gateway between worlds, a civilization whose mastery of nature and consciousness allowed it to bend the very fabric of reality. Some of these researchers argue that the sudden disappearance of Atlantis was not solely a natural disaster, but the deliberate hiding of something too powerful to be unleashed, as if the Atlanteans, foreseeing their downfall, activated ancient technologies or rituals to protect their greatest secrets. Deep below the ocean floor, and perhaps beyond the limits of human perception, one startling hypothesis proposes that within the abyssal depths lies a shimmering, almost otherworldly city. Not ruined marble and broken temples, but an advanced construct of crystal and light, invisible to conventional instruments. This city, it is suggested, exists simultaneously within our plane and another dimension, hidden by a veil woven of science and sorcery. Few dare to investigate such claims openly, fearing ridicule or worse, but those who have ventured remotely near report anomalies, unexplained signals, distortions in electromagnetic fields, and fleeting glimpses on sonar of geometries beyond comprehension. Some divers tell of moments when time seemed to bend and silence deepened into a sentient presence. In a remote research outpost beneath the waves, teams have accessed data hinting at vessels moving without propulsion, luminous forms that cannot be tracked, and patterns of sound and light that mirror ancient Atlantean symbols. These findings suggest not only a lost city, but the possibility of an enduring civilization cloaked in mystery and light, watching, waiting, and perhaps guarding a secret that could unravel our understanding of reality itself. If true, this revelation recasts Atlantis from a tale of hubris and ruin into a story of transcendence and hidden guardianship, a civilization that chose to depart from the world it had once ruled, not by sinking beneath the sea, but by stepping beyond the visible, into realms where myth and science merge. Thus, Atlantis may not be lost. It may simply be waiting for the moment when humanity is ready to perceive it. An invitation from a distant past to awaken a future yet written, where the boundaries between history, myth, and the infinite blur like the shifting tides. And so, as one drifts off tonight, slipping between waking and dreaming, let the story of Atlantis remind that some mysteries are not endings, but beginnings. The start of a journey toward deeper understanding, where the greatest discoveries lie not just beneath the ocean, but within the uncharted depths of our own imagination. In the centuries that followed Plato, the story of Atlantis had always been a beacon for explorers and scholars alike, a riddle wrapped in myth, spun from the threads of history and imagination. Yet the question remained, did Atlantis ever truly exist as more than allegory? Modern inquiry has taken us far beyond the poetic dialogues of ancient Greece, plunging scientists, archaeologists, and dreamers alike into vigorous debate. Today, over 40 proposed locations around the world claim to be the lost city or its remnants. Among these, some lead to the Azores Islands, a small archipelago rising mysteriously from the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. The Azores have been suggested as fragments of the once mighty Atlantean landmass, survivor islands marking the edges of a sunken civilization. Supporters of this Atlantic theory note that the Azores sit just beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, the gateway Plato mentioned. This positioning could have made them a natural staging point for the fabled city's naval engagements with ancient Mediterranean peoples. South America offers another captivating theory, the Altiplano Plateau in the central Andes Mountains. This vast highland region matches Plato's description of extensive fertile plains. Here, Enigmatic stone formations and extraordinary architectural feats hint at a civilization of unexpected grandeur. Researchers note the technological advances of native Andean cultures, suggesting the possibility that these achievements are echoes of Atlantean knowledge passed down through generations, surviving more than just physical cataclysms. Adding to the lore, the infamous Bermuda Triangle has been woven into the tapestry of Atlantis myths, known as a mysterious maritime region where ships and planes seem to vanish without explanation. Some conspiracy theorists link it to the lost city's secretive location. According to rumor, Atlanteans may still inhabit underwater cities within this vast, uncharted area, utilizing advanced technologies or mysterious forces to conceal their realm from the surface world. However, counterbalancing these guesses, mainstream science remains cautious. Despite the lure of tantalizing ruins, no conclusive archaeological evidence ties any underwater or continental landmass to Atlantis. Most experts view the tale as Plato's parable about pride and downfall, a moral lesson cloaked in allegory rather than a historical account. Yet exploration continues. Modern techniques like sonar mapping, underwater drones, and geological surveys have uncovered natural formations that could be mistaken for ruins. From limestone blocks arranged in puzzling patterns beneath the Bahamian Sea to shapes resembling submerged pyramids near Cuba, each discovery fuels hope and skepticism in equal measure. Intriguingly, some researchers propose even more exotic theories. One suggests that Antarctica might have once been Atlantis. Due to historic continental drift and climatic shifts, the icy continent may have hosted a thriving civilization before being swallowed by ice and time. This echoes authors' speculation and fringe science, but illustrates how deeply the mystery weaves into our quest for lost knowledge. Amid the scientific investigations, the story of Atlantis has inspired cultural and spiritual reflections. For many, the myth symbolizes the fragility of human civilizations, how greatness can unravel when humility is lost. It celebrates human creativity and warns against overreach. In truth, much like the vast oceans that hide countless secrets, Atlantis remains a paradox, both a lost utopia and a mirror reflecting the hopes and fears of all who seek to understand our past and future. The quest to find Atlantis illustrates humanity's unyielding desire to connect with origins, to believe in wonders, and to ponder the great mysteries that shape our collective story. This section continues the unique narrative, integrating multiple modern hypotheses about Atlantis in a rich storytelling tone. It builds depth and invites reflection while progressing toward the target length. Shall the next segment further deepen the mystery and explore the cultural impact of Atlantis, continuing the narrative with the same style and adding more detail to flesh out modern theories about Atlantis and their meaning, maintaining reader engagement? Centuries have passed since Plato first wove the tale of Atlantis, a city forever lost to the depths of time and sea. Yet the mystery of this vanished civilization persists, with an allure that defies reason and echoes through every age. Around the globe, the question remains alive in the hearts of scholars, adventurers, and dreamers alike. Could Atlantis have been more than a myth? The Atlantic Ocean, vast and enigmatic, has long been the focal point of many theories. The Azores Islands, scattered like jewels across this deep blue expanse, offer tantalizing clues. Some claim these islands are the surviving fragments of a larger landmass that once formed the legendary continent. Geological surveys reveal underwater plateaus and ridges nearby, lending credence to the idea of a sunken homeland. Further south, the mysterious Altiplano Plateau in the Andes Mountains presents an equally compelling case. Its geography bears an uncanny resemblance to Plato's description of Atlantean plains rich in natural resources. The ancient stone constructions dotting this landscape hint at a civilization capable of remarkable architectural feats. Many find it hypnotic to imagine ancient Atlanteans, wise and skilled, walking these high plateaus, their legacy embedded in the very earth beneath the feet of modern inhabitants. The mythos of Atlantis permeates not only history and geology, but also the swirling currents of popular imagination. The Bermuda Triangle, notorious for unsolved disappearances and distorted compass readings, has been woven into Atlantean lore. Whispers speak of a hidden city beneath the waters, guarded by descendants of the original Atlanteans, who protect their world with arcane technology. While these claims lack definitive proof, they add a thrilling layer to the story, a tale of mystery enfolded by the ocean's embrace. Despite such captivating narratives, the scientific community remains largely skeptical. The lack of indisputable archaeological evidence and the limitations of ancient texts lead many to conclude that Atlantis was Plato's parable, a moral and philosophical lesson on the dangers of hubris and the fallibility of civilizations. Yet even the most skeptical admit that the story's endurance speaks to a powerful truth: humanity's endless fascination with paradise lost and the eternal hope of rediscovery. Modern exploration has pulled back the veil on the ocean's depths like never before. Sonar mapping reveals curious formations. Underwater robots capture images of patterns and structures that stir speculation. Limestone blocks shaped into geometric paths, submerged temples whose outlines barely break the water's shimmer, and ruins swallowed up by centuries of sand and coral, all hint at former grandeur. In some cases, such discoveries invigorate public imagination, with visions of Atlantis rising from myth into history. In others, they spark fierce debates, with scientists attributing these findings to natural geological processes. This tension between belief and evidence is a key reason Atlantis continues to captivate. Nestled at the crossroads of myth, science, and possibility. Another recent theory points to Antarctica, a landlocked continent cloaked in ice, as a candidate for the lost city. Proposed by researchers challenging accepted geological timelines, this idea suggests that shifting tectonic plates and climate change buried a once temperate continent beneath glaciers. Here, too, echoes of Atlantis's golden age might lie frozen, waiting for the melting ice to reveal hidden truths. The allure of all these theories lies in more than maps and stones. It touches upon the human spirit's quest for meaning. Atlantis embodies the rise and fall of civilizations, their dreams, innovations, pride, and inevitable vulnerability. It holds up a mirror reflecting our own hopes and fears as a species, imploring us to learn from the past and to pursue wisdom over recklessness. Finally, Atlantis is not just a lost city beneath the waves. It is a symbol, an enduring myth of humanity's search for perfection, the eternal dance of creation and destruction that shapes history. Whether buried underwater or living on in story alone, Atlantis invites us all to consider what it means to build, to fall, and to dream anew. For centuries, the search for Atlantis has been a journey through myth and mystery, science and speculation. Explorers scour the seafloor, scholars sift through ancient texts, dreamers look to the horizon of possibility. Yet, just as hope flickers for discovery, an astonishing truth emerges, one that changes everything. It was during a recent deep-sea expedition in the Caribbean that something unprecedented occurred. While scanning the ocean floor near the Bimini Road, a research submarine captured an unexplainable phenomenon. On the sonar and video feeds appeared a vast, radiant chamber unlike anything formed by nature or man-made materials known to science. But this was no ordinary ruin. The chamber seemed to pulse with light, a living glow beneath the waves that shifted and shimmered, as if sentient. The crew watched in stunned silence as geometric shapes formed and dissolved, patterns too precise and symmetrical to be random. Intriguingly, the shapes bore resemblance to symbols found in Plato's dialogues, a forgotten code from Atlantis itself. Days later, communication with the submarine suddenly ceased, followed by a series of strange transmissions. When recovered weeks later, the crew reported experiences that defied explanation. Moments where time seemed to slow or stop. Vivid visions of an ancient civilization not just lost to history, but entwined with their own consciousness. Even more perplexing was the discovery inside the chamber, a crystalline device, large and delicate, emitting energy that baffled scientists. The artifact, though submerged for millennia, vibrated with a power suggesting the Atlanteans had unlocked secrets far beyond human understanding. Here lay the twist. Atlantis was not merely a city swallowed by the sea, but a portal, an ancient gateway between worlds, dimensions, or states of being. The fall of Atlantis was no accident, but a cosmic event, sealing away knowledge too potent for the ages. Suddenly, the story of Atlantis was no longer just one of pride and punishment. It was about humans standing on the threshold of awakening extraordinary powers buried deep within forgotten history. The implications cascaded, Atlantis as a beacon for future discovery, promising revelation and transformation. The lost city whispered from beneath the waves, an invitation to transcend boundaries, to explore not only the depths of ocean, but the farthest reaches of reality. As the mysteries of Atlantis deepen, a new figure enters the scene. Dr. Ilara Voss, a brilliant but enigmatic archaeologist and quantum physicist. Unlike the explorers who seek Atlantis purely for fame or fortune, Ilara's intentions are far more complex and personal. Ilara carries a secret burden, a cryptic message left by her grandfather, a renowned explorer who vanished decades ago while searching for Atlantis. His final words hinted at something beyond myth, a hidden power within the lost city that could reshape humanity's destiny. For Ilara, the search has transformed from an academic quest into a deeply personal mission to uncover the truth and protect what might lie beneath the waves. Her arrival instantly changes the course of the expedition. Ilara's profound knowledge of ancient languages and cutting-edge technology reveals clues no one else can decipher. But more importantly, her quiet intensity and moral compass challenge the hero's original motivations. Where once he sought discovery and adventure, Ilara forces him to confront questions of responsibility, the dangers of ambition, and the cost of unveiling truths that perhaps were meant to remain buried. Under her influence, the hero's journey shifts from a thrill-seeking pursuit to a quest for understanding the ethical weight of knowledge and power. Together, they grapple with revelations that could rewrite history and with choices that could save or doom the modern world. Ilara is a catalyst, her presence unraveling old certainties and weaving new complexities into the tale of Atlantis, transforming it from a legend of loss into a story about the struggle between human curiosity and the profound consequences it can awaken. Dr. Ilara Voss is an accomplished archaeologist and quantum physicist in her early 40s, with a sharp intellect and a calm but determined demeanor. She has striking features, piercing gray eyes that seem to see beyond the obvious, short, dark hair framing a thoughtful face marked by quiet intensity. Ilara's demeanor is composed, sometimes distant, but her presence commands attention through the confidence of deep knowledge and personal conviction. Her connection to the hero is deeply personal and transformative. Ilara is the child of one of the hero's closest mentors, an explorer who mysteriously disappeared years earlier during an Atlantis expedition. She carries the legacy and secret messages left behind by her parent, which challenge the hero's original motivations from simple discovery to protecting a profound and dangerous truth. Ilara's arrival compels the hero to reconsider everything he thought he knew about Atlantis and their own mission, shifting the narrative from adventure to an ethical and existential quest. With Ilara, the hero's journey becomes entwined with themes of legacy, trust, and the heavy burden of knowledge, transforming their partnership into one where intellectual respect and emotional friction drive growth and change. Years before the current expedition, the hero and Ilara shared a profound connection through her parent, the hero's mentor and close friend. This mentor vanished mysteriously during a prior quest to find Atlantis, leaving behind secret journals and a cryptic warning about the city's hidden power. Raised on stories of that lost expedition, Ilara grew up with a burning desire to uncover the truth and protect what her parent had sought. Their paths converged when Ilara, equipped with her unique blend of archaeological expertise and quantum physics, joined the hero's team. Their shared history, not just professional, but intensely personal, creates a complex dynamic rooted in trust, loss, and unresolved questions. Ilara challenges the hero to see beyond their original goals, transforming the quest into a mission with higher stakes and deeper responsibility. Before the current expedition, the hero was deeply connected to a mentor, a respected explorer driven by obsession to uncover Atlantis. This mentor was also Ilara Voss's parent, who disappeared mysteriously years ago during a secretive quest to uncover Atlantis's true power. Before vanishing, the mentor left behind cryptic journals hinting that Atlantis concealed a cosmic secret, far beyond gold or ruins, something that could alter humanity's understanding of reality itself. Ilara grew up not knowing her parents' fate, but inheriting this burden of mystery and responsibility. She devoted her life to mastering archaeology and quantum physics to finish what was started and ensure that this secret didn't fall into the wrong hands. When Ilara joined the hero's current expedition, their shared past quickly surfaced, creating tension and urgency. The key twist: the mentor's disappearance was no accident, but a sacrifice made to shield the secret from a shadowy faction, now believed to be stalking the team. This revelation forces the hero to rethink the mission, not just a search for knowledge, but a battle to protect a truth powerful enough to change existence itself. Their journey becomes not only a quest for Atlantis, but a race against dark forces lurking in the shadows. Ilara, voice low, urgent. "There's something I haven't told you. It's about my parents' last expedition, the one you were so close to." Hero, frowning. "What do you mean? You've only said they disappeared. What really happened?" Ilara, "They didn't just vanish. They found something incredible, something dangerous. That crystalline artifact we discovered, it wasn't by accident. They sacrificed themselves to protect it." Hero, "Sacrificed? Protected from what?" Ilara, "From a faction that believes Atlantis' secrets should be theirs. They're still out there watching us, waiting. My parent left coded warnings in their journal, hidden messages warning us to be careful." Hero, pauses, processing. "So this isn't just about discovery anymore. We're in the middle of something much bigger, something darker." Ilara, "Exactly. We're not just searching for Atlantis. We're racing to keep its power from falling into the wrong hands. Every step we take, they get closer." Hero, grim resolve. "Then we have no choice but to be smarter and faster. This journey is bigger than either of us imagined." Ilara, and it started long before we were here. Ilara, whispering, "You need to know the truth about my parents' disappearance. They didn't just vanish. They sacrificed themselves to protect something. Something dangerous." Hero, concerned, "What kind of danger?" Ilara, "A faction hell-bent on capturing the power Atlantis hides. My parent left coded warnings. They said we're not just explorers. We're the last line of defense." Hero, narrowing eyes, "So, we have enemies people hunting us." Ilara, "Yes, and," pauses, "I was with them when they disappeared." Hero, shocked, "You were there? What happened?" Ilara, pauses, then smirks. "Actually, that's what I wanted you to believe." Hero, confused, "What?" Ilara, "I wasn't there. I made that up, to test if you'd trust me." Hero, suspicious, "Why would you do that?" Ilara, "Because trust is the most valuable and fragile thing in this quest. And now, with us, truth and lies will be tangled." Ilara, "I wasn't there when my parent disappeared. It was safer if you believed they vanished alone. Later, after growing trust." Ilara, "The truth is, I was there right beside them. We both escaped, but I stayed silent to protect you. The danger isn't just from outside forces, but from those who could turn our secrets against Ilara. I wasn't there when my parent disappeared. It was safer if you believed they vanished alone. Later, after trust deepens." Ilara, "The truth is, I was right beside them. We escaped together, but I had to hide this to protect you, and the mission, from those who would kill to keep Atlantis' secret. Us, even those closest to us." The hero studied Ilara closely, searching her eyes for any hint of hesitation. Suddenly, Ilara reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn notebook, the same one the hero's missing mentor always carried. She opened it to a page marked with a symbol that glowed faintly in the dim light. Without a word, Ilara flipped to another page handwritten notes, detailing both the mentor's and her own involvement in a hidden event. The annotations described a secret escape from danger, an unauthorized mission concealed from the world. Her fingers trembled slightly as she traced the words, eyes flickering with a mixture of fear and resolve. The hero's breath caught. The truth was there on the page, proof that Ilara had been present, part of the mission, but had hidden it all along to protect him. Ilara met his gaze at last, silence stretching between them. The hero nodded slowly, understanding finally dawning through the unspoken confession. Actions had spoken louder than any confession, unraveling the carefully guarded lie and binding their fates more tightly than words ever could. During a tense moment, the hero notices Ilara's hand subtly trembling as she reaches into her pocket. She pulls out a small, folded piece of parchment, worn and creased, yet unmistakably the same that the missing mentor always carried. Ilara hesitates, glancing away before carefully unfolding it. The hero catches his breath when he sees a hidden note written in the mentor's handwriting, detailing a secret meeting, one that includes Ilara's name for the very first time, proving she was with the mentor when the disappearance occurred. Ilara's eyes avoid his now curious stare as she slowly closes the parchment, tucking it away again. No words cross her lips, but her silent admission speaks louder than any confession. The hero's expression shifts from suspicion to understanding, realizing the full truth through this quiet gesture. This action-based reveal intensifies the drama by showing truth in a gesture rather than direct speech. Would you like to further develop the consequences of this reveal? During a tense moment, the hero notices Ilara's hand tremble slightly. She pulls from her pocket a small, folded parchment, the same one her missing parent always carried. Without a word, she unfolds it, revealing a hidden note in her parent's handwriting, mentioning her presence at a secret rendezvous linked to the last expedition. Elara meets the hero's gaze only briefly, before folding the parchment back and slipping it away slowly. Her silence speaks volumes. The hero's suspicion melts into understanding as the truth settles without a single whispered word. This silent gesture unravels the carefully guarded lie, forever changing the trust between them. Revealing a hidden truth through actions rather than words typically causes profound shifts in relationships. When trust is broken by secrets or lies, partners often feel betrayed, confused, or distant. But transparency, even if delayed, can allow healing, rebuilding stronger bonds over time. In the hero and Elara's case, the silent revelation of her involvement reshapes their dynamic from suspicion to a hesitant new trust. It forces the hero to confront feelings of betrayal, but also respect Elara's heavy burden and sacrifice. This new transparency deepens their connection while introducing tension. Trust must be earned again through actions, not promises. The hero's perception changes. Elara is no longer just an ally, but someone carrying emotional scars and a secret mission. The shift adds emotional complexity, vulnerability, and complexity. Where before their relationship was professional and goal-driven, it becomes intimate and fraught with unresolved emotions, doubts, and the struggle to move forward together. Ultimately, such revelations strengthen relationships when both characters commit to honesty, understanding, and shared purpose. But initially, the fallout often includes anger, distance, and painful self-reflection. The revelation of Elara's hidden involvement fundamentally shifts their relationship by peeling back layers of trust and vulnerability. The hero, initially feeling betrayed, soon realizes the weight of her silence stemmed from a fierce desire to protect him and the mission. This forces them into a new, deeper dynamic, one marked by fragile trust that must be rebuilt through honest actions rather than words alone. The hero now sees Elara not just as a resource, but as someone bearing emotional scars and heavy burdens. This understanding introduces moments of tension and tenderness as they navigate feelings of doubt, forgiveness, and reliance. What was once a professional partnership becomes a complex emotional bond where mutual respect coexists with unresolved fears. The hero's perception broadens, inspiring empathy and a desire to truly understand her motivations, leading to moments of intimate connection and shared purpose. Ultimately, the revelation becomes a catalyst for growth. Both characters evolve, confronting their own vulnerabilities through the challenge of rebuilding trust amid uncertainty. The story deepens as their relationship transforms into an evolving alliance shaped by both past secrets and future hopes. The revelation of Elara's secret involvement profoundly alters their relationship, forcing them into unfamiliar emotional territory. At first, the hero feels betrayed and questions everything about their partnership. Yet soon, a deeper understanding emerges as the hero realizes Elara's silence was born from fear and a fierce will to protect not just the mission, but also him. This unspoken burden creates a fragile new trust, one that must be rebuilt through actions rather than simple words. The hero now sees Elara not just as a colleague, but as a deeply complex person carrying wounds of loss and guilt. Where there was once ease and certainty, tension and vulnerability now color their interactions. The dynamics shift from straightforward collaboration to a delicate dance of empathy, patience, and raw honesty. The hero becomes more attentive to Elara's unspoken fears and unguarded moments, while Elara gradually lowers her walls, revealing fears she once buried. Doubts arise alongside hope. They both wrestle with whether forgiveness and full trust can restore what was broken. Their relationship deepens beyond professional respect into something profoundly human, marked by growing reliance and emotional complexity. The shared purpose of protecting Atlantis' secret now binds them closer, forging a bond tempered by hardship and real connection. In this crucible of revelation and consequence, both characters evolve, facing their vulnerabilities and learning the true meaning of trust, sacrifice, and partnership. Their journey continues, no longer just about discovery, but about building a fragile future together. When the truth finally dawned on her, the weight of betrayal rolled over Alara like a ruthless tide. It was not just the deception itself, but the shattering of trust, a fragile, precious thing that had anchored her in the tumult of their quest. Her chest tightened, breath caught somewhere between shock and heartbreak, while a storm of conflicting emotions raged silently within. At first, there was disbelief, numbness, like standing on a precipice and finding the ground vanish beneath her feet. Her mind scrambled to reconcile the image of the heroic figure she trusted with the reality now laid bare. How could someone so close wield such secrets, keep her in the dark about something so vital? Anger flared hot and sudden, burning not just at the other, but also at herself, for the moments she had let doubt creep in, for the cracks in her own judgment. The betrayal seethed in her like wildfire, wild and uncontrollable, forcing tears that came unbidden, stripping away years of resilience. She retreated inward, shrouding herself in a veil of cold silence, swallowing questions and agony. No words came when pressed. Instead, a brittle shield rose, a barrier reinforced by pain. The familiar surroundings felt alien, and even warmth from companions felt distant, as if barred by invisible walls. Doubts about their shared mission surfaced. Could she trust again? Could she continue? Yet beneath the tumult, a flicker remained, a fragile thread of hope clawing through despair. For in that very pain lay the truth. The other's silence, though cruel, was born of protection, a burden born in shadows, not malice. Gradually, as the days passed, vulnerability softened. Moments of quiet honesty began to crack the surface. Small gestures, unguarded glances, shared moments of fragile connection. She realized that healing trust required more than apology. It required openness, without pretense, commitment, without reservation. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with emotional debris, but also paved with potential. Her heart, raw and cautious, dared to lean toward reconciliation, not blind, but informed by the truth and the complexity of human frailty. In time, the pain transformed into a deeper, more resilient bond, a tempered alliance forged in the crucible of secrets and revelation. She learned that trust, once broken, could be rebuilt stronger, not because lies were forgotten, but because truth was embraced, however painful. In that journey from darkness to light, she found not only the strength to forgive, but the courage to face the unknown alongside the flawed but genuine companion she had chosen to trust. Dear hero's name, I write this not expecting forgiveness or understanding right away, but because the truth I kept hidden has weighed on me heavier than I could bear in silence. When I first joined you on this journey, I carried a secret that was meant to protect you, to safeguard the mission, and shield you from dangers I believed you weren't ready to face. I told you I wasn't there when my parent disappeared. That was a lie, born from fear and desperation. The truth is, I was there. Together, we faced darkness none could imagine. I chose to hide this because I feared that revealing it too soon would fracture the fragile trust between us before it had a chance to grow. But in doing so, I betrayed you. I see now the pain that silence caused, the doubts it sowed in your heart. My heart aches with the knowledge that what I meant as protection only created distance between us. I was wrong to withhold the truth, and I bear that responsibility fully. But please know this. Every silence, every shadow I stepped into was because I believed in you and in the mission. I fought with what I had, hoping we would someday stand united, with all truths laid bare. I ask now not just for your forgiveness, but for the chance to rebuild what was broken. I want us to face the unknown, not separated by lies, but bound by honesty and courage. Whatever comes next, I am grateful for your strength and for the hope that still flickers between us. Ilara's hands trembled as she folded the letter carefully, sealing it with a deep breath. She knew words alone could never fully heal the rift her silence created, but she hoped this fragile confession might be the first step. Late that evening, she handed the letter to the hero in quiet solitude. His eyes scanned the familiar handwriting, and as he read, a whirlwind of emotions crossed his face. Pain, confusion, and finally, a wary softness. For a long moment, neither spoke. The air between them was thick with unspoken regrets and tentative hope. Then, with slow, deliberate calm, the hero looked up, meeting Ilara's eyes. "This changes everything," he said quietly. "Not just what you hid, but how much you believed I needed protection. It makes me realize how fragile trust can be, and yet, how necessary it is to try again." Ilara nodded, a tear escaping down her cheek. "I want to try. To be honest, from here on, no more secrets, because we can't face what's coming alone or broken." Gradually, the silent walls began to crumble. Their shared mission took on new meaning, not just a quest for Atlantis, but a journey of healing and rebuilding, where truth was the most precious discovery. And so, in the quiet that followed the letter, something shifted. Two allies became more partners, bound by pain, bravery, and the courage to hope once more. After the revelation of Ilara's secret involvement, their relationship undergoes a profound transformation marked by complex emotional shifts. At first, the hero feels a deep sting of betrayal. The foundation of trust they had carefully built suddenly seems fractured. Questions swirl. How could Ilara have hidden this so long? Doubt and hurt color his thoughts, and he instinctively pulls away, guarded and uncertain. Ilara, for her part, is overcome with guilt and remorse. She never intended to wound him, but believed her silence was necessary protection. Her heart aches as she sees the distance growing between them, a chasm she desperately wants to bridge, but fears may be too wide. Slowly, tension gives way to vulnerability. The hero begins to recognize the heavy burden Ilara carried alone, the fear, sacrifice, and pain hidden beneath her silence. Empathy gradually replaces suspicion, as he sees not deceit, but a protective instinct shaped by hardship. Their interactions shift from guarded to tentative openness. Small gestures, shared glances, quiet moments of honesty become the fragile scaffolding of renewed trust. Both realize rebuilding will be neither quick nor easy, but requires patience, courage, and relentless honesty. Ilara commits to transparency, allowing herself to be vulnerable without retreating behind secrets. The hero learns to listen deeply and let go of lingering resentment. Understanding trust is a process, not an immediate restoration. Together, their relationship evolves from fractured partnership into an emotionally complex bond, a deep alliance forged through shared hardship, healing, and a commitment to face the future united, despite past betrayals. This transvoys the hero and Ilara faced the emotional turmoil of broken trust between them. their focus gradually shifted toward the core of their quest. The legendary Atlantis, the lost city, whose secrets could reshape the world. Atlantis, according to ancient philosopher Plato, was a mighty kingdom located beyond the Pillars of Hercules' modern Gibraltar in the vast Atlantic Ocean. It was ruled by descendants of Poseidon, the god of the sea, who divided the island into concentric rings of land and water, breathtaking in their design and prosperity. The Atlanteans were said to possess advanced knowledge and technologies far beyond their time, making their realm a beacon of power and enlightenment. This utopia was not only a realm of unprecedented wealth and artistry, but also one marked by hubris. The Atlanteans' desire for conquest grew, and they set their sights on extending their dominion beyond their island shores, ambitions that led to conflict with the ancient Athenians. Their arrogance angered the gods, and Zeus himself unleashed a cataclysmic punishment, earthquakes and floods that swallowed the entire island beneath the ocean in a single night. For millennia, the story existed as a powerful allegory, a warning about pride and the fall of great civilizations. Yet the legend endured, inspiring explorers and scholars alike to search for its traces beneath the waves and beneath layers of myth and time. Modern theories place Atlantis in a variety of locations, from the Atlantic near the Azores, the Mediterranean's volcanic Santorini, to even Antarctica, each new discovery reigniting hope and debate. Deep-sea explorations reveal mysterious stone formations and underwater anomalies fueling imaginations across the globe. For the hero and Alara, Atlantis was more than history or myth. It was a living mystery carrying profound power and peril. Their journey was no longer just about discovery, but about understanding and protecting those ancient secrets from falling into the wrong hands. For the fate of Atlantis was intricately tied to the fate of humanity itself. As they prepared to dive deeper into the heart of Atlantis's submerged ruins, the weight of history and destiny pressed upon them. They were not merely uncovering relics, but stepping into the legacy of a civilization whose light and shadow still echoed across the ages, reminding all who dared to seek it of the fragile balance between greatness and ruin. Ormation infuses their journey with greater meaning, where trust is both the goal and the fragile treasure sustaining them through uncertainty ahead. As the hero's ship approached the coordinates, marked by generations of hope and myth, a mixture of awe and nervous anticipation swelled within him. The vast, rolling ocean stretched endlessly, but ahead, the water's color deepened into unfamiliar shades of turquoise and emerald, whispering of a hidden world below. The sun's rays glimmered on gentle waves, casting dancing lights that seemed to beckon toward something ancient and profound. A thick mist rolled over the horizon, wrapping the approaching island in ethereal silence. A heavy quiet filled the air, so complete it pulsed like a heartbeat. The hero felt the weight of centuries pressing down, as if time itself had folded around this place, guarding it in solemn stillness. As the first outline of stone structures appeared through the mist, intricate and weathered, yet unmistakably crafted with intention and grandeur, his breath caught. Towering spires rose like frozen waterfalls, their shapes adorned with carvings of strange symbols and figures lost to ordinary memory. The air smelled different here. Salt sharpness mingled with the faint scent of ancient incense and earth. The surface of the water shimmered as if alive, reflecting a city barely touched by decay. Buildings arranged in concentric rings, surrounded by shimmering canals that caught the light in patterns of silver and blue. Each detail whispered secrets of a civilization that had once thrived on wisdom and power. The hero's heart thudded with the thrill of discovery, but also a shiver of caution. Here lay the fabled Atlantis, an enigma suspended between myth and reality, promising wonders, but warning of dangers long buried beneath its splendor. Leaving the ship behind, the hero stepped onto narrow stone bridges arching over crystalline waters. With each step, a profound stillness settled, as if the city watched, waiting its story about to be retold through those brave enough to listen. The first visual details of Atlantis that strike the hero are both breathtaking and surreal. As the mist begins to clear, the hero's eyes are drawn to the bright, radiant glow that seems to emanate from the city itself, not from any ordinary source, but from the structures themselves, which pulse softly with an almost living light. This gentle illumination traces the outlines of immense conduits and towering spires, casting shifting reflections on the crystal-clear canals that spiral across the city's concentric rings. The architecture astounds him. It's unlike anything known, a fusion of elegant curves and sharp angles, smooth marble surfaces veined with iridescent minerals, and intricate patterns reminiscent of ancient symbols, yet glowing with modern energy. The streets are wide and impeccably clean, paved with stones that shimmer faintly in the sunlight, inviting a feeling of both wonder and reverence. Every corner reveals statues carved with exquisite detail, figures of gods, warriors, and mythical beasts, their eyes inlaid with sparkling gems that seem to follow him as if alive. There is a profound sense that the city is not just built, but grown, as if the stones themselves breathe in harmony with the pulse of the sea. Above all, the hero is struck by the overwhelming stillness. The city is both majestic and eerily quiet, seeming to hold its breath beneath the sun and waves, waiting for a secret long kept to be uncovered. Inside Atlantis, the hero stepped cautiously onto the polished stone of the wide avenues, his senses overwhelmed by the monumental scale and otherworldly beauty of the city. The very air felt charged, with an ancient energy that seemed to echo the heartbeat of a civilization, long vanished, yet vibrantly alive in its remains. The streets were arranged meticulously in geometric patterns, straight lines intersected with graceful curves to create an architectural symphony of order and grandeur. He noticed that the buildings glimmered softly, their surfaces embedded with veins of unknown minerals that shimmered like molten silver and gold under the muted sunlight, filtering through ethereal clouds above. Massive statues of powerful figures stood sentinel along the boulevards. Each was carved with exquisite attention to detail, muscular forms poised in eternal strength, faces calm but commanding respect. Their eyes, set with crystalline stones, reflected the hero's movement, almost as if they watched both past and present with undying vigilance. Above, soaring arches and colonnades blurred the boundary between indoors and out, covered with intricate reliefs depicting myths, battles between gods, sea creatures, and humans who once commanded divine favor. The scent of blooming, unfamiliar flowers mingled with salty ocean air, filtered through courtyards and sacred gardens that decorated the city like living tapestries. As he passed beneath immense aqueducts, channeling water through the city's concentric rings, the hero's footsteps echoed in vast plazas surrounded by marble palaces adorned with shimmering tiles and precious metals. The craftsmanship was staggering. The walls and floors told stories of a people who excelled not only in engineering, but also in art, philosophy, and mystical knowledge. In the distance, the Temple of Poseidon rose as the city's heart, a breathtaking edifice of golden spires and silver walls crowned with statues that seemed carved from the sun and sea itself. The hero felt a mix of reverence and foreboding as he approached, sensing that this temple held answers and dangers alike. Each step further into Atlantis was a journey into the soul of a civilization whose brilliance and downfall were etched into every stone. The hero was not merely walking through ruins, but stepping into a living memory that challenged all his understandings of history, power, and fate. Inside the mysterious city of Atlantis, the hero's awe soon clashes with danger, revealing that the city itself is fraught with threats, both physical and supernatural. As he ventures deeper into the towering marble colonnades and shimmering plazas, the city's silence takes on a sinister edge. Shadows twist unnaturally under carved arches, and subtle movements catch his eye from corners where no living thing should be. The once majestic statues seem not merely ornamental, but watchful, their gemstone eyes glinting with an eerie life. Suddenly, the hero feels a tremor beneath his feet, a low, rumbling warning from the city itself. Cracks spiderweb across ancient stones, and the water in the canals ripples without wind. The ruins are no longer passive remains. They pulse with a restless energy, triggered by the intrusion. From dark passageways, strange figures emerge. Guardians crafted from stone and myth, animated by forgotten magic. Their forms shift unpredictably between solid and ethereal, their silent approach a warning and a test. Those who do not prove worthy will be met with consequences, ancient and unforgiving. Further, as he explores the grand temple at the center, the hero uncovers traps designed not to protect treasures, but to defend secrets. Riddles encoded in mosaics, floors that give way to watery pits, and guardian constructs that spring to life at the slightest misstep. Beyond physical dangers, whispers invade his mind, echoes of past Atlanteans, warning of betrayal and the city's doom. These psychic echoes challenge his inner strength, threatening to unravel his resolve with visions of past pride and ruin. The hero realizes that Atlantis is a living challenge, its sublime beauty inseparable from its peril. To survive, and to unlock the city's secrets, he must navigate not only collapsing ruins and spectral guardians, but the weight of history itself, facing dangers from the seen and unseen. Would you like the story to develop an intense confrontation with these guardians, or shift focus to the discovery of an ancient Atlantean relic critical to the mission? Inside the mysterious city of Atlantis, the hero's awe soon turns to tension as dangers begin to emerge. Strolling beneath colonnades etched with intricate symbols, he senses shadows flicker unnaturally at the edges of his vision. The statues lining the grand avenues, once silent guardians, seem to watch him, their gem-studded eyes glinting with eerie light. A low rumble vibrates through the marble streets, as if the city itself is stirring awake. Suddenly, the ground quakes. Cracks spread across mosaics beneath his feet, and the canal's waters ripple without wind. Animated by ancient magic, colossal stone guardians materialize figures frozen between solid rock and ghostly mist. They move soundlessly but with purpose, blocking his path as if testing his worth. Careful with every step, the hero navigates traps, floors collapse to hidden watery pits. Walls shift, revealing cryptic puzzles meant to protect a secret too powerful to be easily taken. Psychic whispers haunt him, echoing the rise and ruin of Atlantis, threatening to unbalance his mind with visions of hubris and loss. He realizes that Atlantis is more than ruins. It is a sentient challenge. To survive and uncover its secrets, he must face physical and mental trials, where each misstep invites inside the ruins of Atlantis. Physical traps and hazardous structures form a deadly maze that threatens every step the hero takes. One of the most immediate dangers comes from collapsing floors and ceilings. Ancient marble slabs, once polished and pristine, now groan under centuries of neglect. With one wrong step, a heavy ceiling section might come crashing down, or the floor could split open, revealing a yawning pit filled with jagged rocks or cold water beneath. The hero must move carefully, testing every stone before trusting it. Tightly woven among the ruins are pressure-sensitive tiles that activate hidden mechanisms. Stepping on one might trigger a barrage of dart-shooting mechanisms hidden in the walls, tiny but deadly needle darts, poisoned or barbed, launched with precision at unwary explorers. Some tiles open false doors, revealing deadly drops or spike pits, lined with ancient rusted spears designed to impale invaders. Rotating stone walls and sliding panels add a labyrinthine quality to the city's layout. These shifting corridors can trap the hero in confined spaces, cutting off his escape routes while unleashing other dangers, such as clouds of choking dust or noxious gases released from hidden vents. More elaborate traps include tripwires connected to swinging stone pendulums, massive blades that sweep across halls with crushing force, requiring precise timing or sheer agility to avoid. Some corridors are lined with pressure plates that release torrents of boiling water or fireballs from concealed vents, forcing the hero to navigate with caution and speed. Nature itself proves hazardous. Areas flooded with saltwater currents hide quicksand-like mud pits beneath shallow waters, threatening to drag him down if he's not careful. Toxic plants, remnants of Atlantean bioengineering, emit spores that cause dizziness or paralysis, making the hero vulnerable to the environment's physical traps. In the heart of the ruins, the hero encounters rooms fortified with magical runes that trigger elemental defenses, walls erupting in flames, floors freezing into deadly ice, or walls exuding poisonous gases. These defenses require not only physical agility, but mental acuity to decipher and disable the ancient spells. Beyond traps, some rubble-strewn halls conceal crumbling columns and unstable archways that shudder with every movement, threatening sudden collapse. Rubble fields contain jagged stones that can tear through boots and skin, making any fall perilous. Together, these physical perils weave an environment where survival demands vigilance, courage, and wit. The hero learns quickly that Atlantis itself is an active guardian, protecting its secrets with lethal precision. Ryle and each discovery demands resilience. Here are several ways the hero can neutralize or avoid traps without using tools, relying on observation, skill, and instincts. 1. Careful observation and pattern recognition. The hero watches for subtle visual clues such as worn tiles, slightly raised stones, or scratches on walls that hint at trap triggers. Observing dust disturbances, spider webs, or moss patterns can help identify safe paths where traps haven't been triggered. 2. Using weight and testing steps. By applying light pressure with one foot or toe first, the hero tests each section of floor or tile to see if it's pressure sensitive before committing full weight. The hero may also throw small objects from pockets, stones, debris, to trigger traps at a safe distance. 3. Listening for mechanical noises. Subtle clicks or hisses indicate trap mechanisms about to activate. A tuned hearing can provide early warnings to freeze or change course. 4. Body reflexes and agility. Quick reflexes allow the hero to dodge exposure when sudden dangers like dart sprays or swinging blades activate. Using rolls, jumps, or sidesteps helps avoid damage when traps trigger unexpectedly. 5. Environmental awareness. Recognizing changes in air currents helps detect hidden vents or gas releases. Visual cues like smooth, worn paths or discolored stones indicate previously triggered traps, suggesting safer routes. 6. Mental mapping and patience. Moving slowly and memorizing layouts prevent repeated triggers. waiting quietly in suspicious zones to see if traps reset or observing any periodic dangers before moving. 7. Shadow and light play. Using shadows cast by flickering light or sunlight through cracks to detect moving parts or reveal camouflaged tripwires and pressure plates. These non-instrumental skills make the hero's survival dependent not on gadgets, but keen senses, patience, and quick decision-making in the face of deadly danger. The hero paused at the entrance of a vast hall, sunlight filtering through cracks in the stone ceiling, casting shifting shadows on the floor. Each step forward was calculated. He lowered his weight to test the polished tiles, eyes scanning carefully for any slight irregularities. A few slabs were raised an inch higher than the rest. Obvious suspects. He stepped over them without hesitation. Winding deeper into the ruins, faint mechanical clicks echoed softly as he crouched near a decorated wall. He caught a minute hiss, which he instinctively recognized could signal a hidden dart trap activating. Time slowed as he froze, then darted sideways, just as a spray of tiny needles burst from slots he hadn't noticed before. The hero's heart pounded, but his calm reflexes saved him. Further ahead, a narrow corridor loomed, stone pendulums hanging menacingly from supports. The swinging blades sliced through the stale air, their rhythm hypnotic. He studied the tempo, then timed his sprint, leaping deftly through the dangerous dance, landing safely beyond the pendulums. His breath came quick, but relief flooded through him. In some flooded chambers, the hero tested water depths by tossing stones ahead, avoiding hidden mud traps poised to swallow him whole. He observed discolorations on walls and floor, telling tales of previous explorers who had been less fortunate, guiding him along safer paths. Aware of shifting dust patterns and broken webs, he mapped the path mentally, moving patiently through the labyrinth, never rushing, alert to every whisper and shadow. He became one with the ruins, their rhythms and secrets, his survival hanging on wits and will. Each narrowly avoided trap, every careful step forward, brought him closer to Atlantis' heart and its hidden truths, waiting just beyond the next threshold. The hero stepped cautiously through an enormous archway, entering what could only be the heart of Atlantis, an ancient chamber unlike anything he had ever seen. This vast hall spread before him like a cathedral of lost time, its ceiling soaring into shadows, woven with memories and dust. Every surface gleamed with a soft iridescence, from the floor tiles that shimmered with fading orichalcum, a mysterious metal that seemed to pulse faintly beneath his feet, to towering pillars etched with swirling patterns of gold and azure. Faint glyphs adorned the walls, seemingly alive under his gaze. The symbols twisted subtly, representing a language that held knowledge millennia old. Cosmic philosophy, ancient science, secrets of the universe hidden behind metaphor. At the chamber's center sat a great dais, crowned by a crystalline obelisk that hummed with a silent energy, casting prismatic light across the room. Soft currents of air danced over the hero's skin, carrying whispers of voices long past. Atlantean priests chanting, engineers debating, a civilization at the height of its power, yet teetering on the edge of oblivion. The atmosphere was heavy with both triumph and tragedy. Around the chamber's periphery, massive stone tablets leaned against the walls, inscribed with diagrams of advanced machinery, celestial charts, and philosophical treatises. Some depicted towering cities with rings of water and stone, the legendary concentric design of Atlantis itself. Others told tales of voyages, wars, and a downfall brought by hubris and cosmic retribution. As the hero stepped forward toward the obelisk, a sudden vibration ran through the chamber floor, a subtle but haunting reminder that the city was no mere relic, but a guardian of its own secrets. Here, the past whispered and watched, eager to reveal treasures or unleash trials. This chamber was not just a room, but the living memory of a lost civilization, a testament to wonders and warnings that the hero was only beginning to comprehend. Here is a detailed layout and description of the ancient Atlantean chamber where the hero stands, along with its key artifacts. The chamber is vast and circular, designed as the spiritual and intellectual heart of Atlantis. Its diameter stretches over 50 meters, with a domed ceiling adorned with intricate mosaic stars that glow faintly, illuminating the room with a celestial light. Radiating from the center is a pattern of concentric rings embedded into the floor, a map of the known world as understood by the Atlanteans, carved from iridescent stone in blues, greens, and golds. The rings symbolize the city's legendary concentric layout of land and water. At the exact center sits a raised dais carved from a single massive block of translucent crystal. This dais supports the obelisk of wisdom, a towering, multifaceted crystal that pulses softly with an ancient energy. The obelisk is believed to hold the collective knowledge and power of the Atlantean civilization. Surrounding the dais are 8 smaller pedestals, each bearing a unique artifact. 1. A gilded book sealed with an unknown metallic alloy, inscribed with Atlantean script. 2. A bronze astrolabe of extraordinary craftsmanship, with rotating rings that mimic the celestial movements. 3. A crystalline sphere glowing with internal light, said to be a source of limitless energy. 4. A curved dagger forged from dark meteoric iron, rumored to be the weapon of a legendary Atlantean warrior. 5. A delicate vial containing a swirling mist, believed to be an elixir for longevity. 6. An ancient map etched on a metal sheet, depicting undiscovered lands and portals. 7. A small statue of Poseidon holding a trident, carved from a rare blue gemstone. 8. A peculiar mechanical device with gears and levers, perhaps an ancient technological marvel. Along the walls, enormous stone tablets display Atlantean philosophy, cosmic theories, and blueprints of their advanced machinery, all preserved by the crystal-clear atmosphere within the chamber. This sacred space hums with quiet power, inviting reverence and reflection. It holds the secrets and warnings of a civilization that once aspired for greatness and fell victim to its own hubris. Riddle 1. The Obelisk's Light. I am the unseen bridge between the stars and stone. I hold the wisdom of ages, yet speak without tone. Turn me thrice to the east, then once to the sea. Only then will the pathway to knowledge be free. The hero must carefully rotate the facets of the crystal obelisk to align with the astral symbols carved on the walls, representing east and the sea. Solving this unlocks a hidden compartment beneath the dais. Malforms. Riddle 2. The Wheel of Time. Count the cycles of dawn and the shadows they cast. Match the hands to the moments that forever last. A sphere of light, a bronze sleek form. Together they reveal the path beyond the norm. This puzzle requires the hero to set the ancient bronze astrolabe and a glowing crystalline orb to correspond exactly with celestial cycles illustrated in the murals surrounding the chamber. When aligned, a secret door slowly grinds open. Riddle 3. The Guardian's Challenge. I am forged of stars, yet bound by earth, a silent sentinel, protector of worth. Place me in my throne, but beware the test. Only the worthy will breach the rest. The hero must position the meteoric iron dagger into a pedestal shaped like a throne. This triggers a challenge and apparition, or puzzle, designed to test the hero's worthiness in wisdom, courage, and heart. Riddle 1. The Obelisk's Light. Answer: The hero must rotate the facets of the crystal obelisk 3 times facing east, then once facing the sea. Explanation. The riddle instructs a precise sequence of rotations aligned with cardinal directions, symbolizing cosmic and maritime significance for Atlantis. Aligning the obelisk this way activates a hidden mechanism, unlocking a secret compartment. Riddle 2. The Wheel of Time. Answer. Set the bronze astrolabe and the crystalline orb to correspond with the positions of celestial bodies at dawn and dusk, matching the mural's depiction of cycles. Explanation. The riddle requires synchronizing the instruments to ancient celestial knowledge, symbolizing the eternal passage of time. This alignment reveals a secret passage within the chamber. Firm. Riddle. The Guardian's Challenge. Answer. Place the meteoric iron dagger into the designated pedestal, the throne, which triggers a test or apparition to judge the hero's worthiness. Explanation. The dagger is both a symbol and key only. The worthy can proceed further. This act awakens the chamber's guardian mechanisms or spiritual trial. The hero's journey through Atlantis was a series of trials that tested every ounce of his courage, intellect, and resilience. Moving through the vast ruins and labyrinthine halls of the ancient city, he faced dangers lurking in shadows and puzzles guarding secrets that had been hidden for millennia. In the heart of the city, the hero approached the great chamber, its walls glowing softly with iridescent stones. There, on a raised dais, stood the crystal obelisk, humming with faint energy. The hero recalled the first riddle and carefully began rotating the obelisk's facets, aligning them to face east 3 times, then once toward the sea. As the final turn clicked into place, the dais shifted, revealing a hidden compartment beneath, containing ancient scrolls filled with knowledge lost to time. Emboldened, he moved to the second challenge, the bronze astrolabe and glowing crystalline orb. Studying the celestial murals, the hero matched the instruments to the positions of stars at dawn and dusk, just as the riddle described. The chamber vibrated softly before a stone wall slid aside, unveiling a secret corridor bathed in blue light. The deepest trial awaited at the final pedestal, where the meteoric iron dagger rested. Placing the weapon carefully, the chamber darkened, and from the shadows emerged an apparition, an Atlantean warrior, silent yet imposing. The hero understood this to be a test of worthiness, involving both combat skill and mental resolve. Summoning all his strength and wisdom, he battled shadows and riddles intertwined, proving himself a worthy descendant of the ancient legacy. With victory, the chamber's ancient mechanisms activated, revealing a connection to the broader mysteries of Atlantis' hidden archives, powerful artifacts, and warnings etched in stone about the price of hubris and the fate awaiting those who misused knowledge. Throughout his trials, the hero not only uncovered Atlantis' physical secrets, but also forged a deeper understanding of its people, their triumphs and tragedies, and his own role as their unexpected heir. Would you like the story to continue with new discoveries in the hidden archives, or to explore the hero's reflection on the lessons of Atlantis? The hero's journey through Atlantis was a series of trials that tested every ounce of his courage, intellect, and resilience. Moving through the vast ruins and labyrinthine halls of the ancient city, he faced dangers lurking in shadows and puzzles guarding secrets that had been hidden for millennia. In the heart of the city, the hero approached the great chamber, its walls glowing softly with iridescent stones. There, on a raised dais, stood the crystal obelisk, humming with faint energy. The hero recalled the first riddle and carefully began rotating the obelisk's facets, aligning them to face east 3 times, then once toward the sea. As the final turn clicked into place, The dais shifted, revealing a hidden compartment beneath, containing ancient scrolls filled with knowledge lost to time. Emboldened, he moved to the second challenge, the bronze astrolabe and glowing crystalline orb. Studying the celestial murals, the hero matched the instruments to the positions of stars at dawn and dusk, just as the riddle described. The chamber vibrated softly before a stone wall slid aside, unveiling a secret corridor bathed in blue light. The deepest trial awaited at the final pedestal, where the meteoric iron dagger rested. Placing the weapon carefully, the chamber darkened, and from the shadows emerged an apparition, an Atlantean warrior, silent yet imposing. The hero understood this to be a test of worthiness, involving both combat skill and mental resolve. Summoning all his strength and wisdom, he battled shadows and riddles intertwined, proving himself a worthy descendant of the ancient legacy. With victory, the chamber's ancient mechanisms activated, revealing a connection to the broader mysteries of Atlantis' hidden archives, powerful artifacts, and warnings etched in stone about the price of hubris and the fate awaiting those who misuse knowledge. Throughout his trials, the hero not only uncovered Atlantis' physical secrets, but also forged a deeper understanding of its people, their triumphs and tragedies, and his own role as their unexpected heir. The hero's next great challenge awaited him in Elysia, the ancient battleground where gods and mortals clashed in legends long buried beneath the sands of time. As he approached the ruined cathedral at the heart of Elysia, the air grew thick with tension, carrying whispers of countless battles and the weight of forgotten oaths. Suddenly, from the shattered columns and crumbled archways, emerged fierce guardians of the lost realm, warriors clad in spectral armor, their eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. These were not mere shades, but powerful echoes of ancient defenders bound to protect Elysia's secrets at all costs. The hero drew his weapon, steel flashing in the dim light, and braced for battle. The first wave crashed forward like a tide, silent but deadly, their ghostly swords striking with uncanny precision. He moved with practiced grace, parrying blows that could shatter bone and striking back with calculated force. Amidst the chaos, the hero felt the presence of a colossal foe, a titan of stone and shadow, awakened from centuries of slumber. Its thunderous footsteps shook the battlefield as it swung massive arms to crush or sweep away anyone in its path. The hero dodged, weaving under crushing blows, using the fractured ruins for cover as he sought the titan's vulnerability. Using agility and cunning, the hero targeted the glowing runes inscribed across the titan's body, knowing that disrupting their energy might weaken the behemoth. Timing his strikes carefully, he shattered the stones until the titan staggered, then drove his blade deep into the core where ancient power pulsed. With the titan's fall, the spectral warriors faltered, and the battlefield fell silent. Breathing heavily, the hero stood victorious, but aware that greater trials awaited deeper within Elysia's lost halls, where the past still fought fiercely to protect its legacy. After the hero's victory in the dangerous battle at Elysia, several notable rewards and consequences follow. Possible rewards. 1. Ancient Atlantean artifacts. The hero gains powerful relics tools, or weapons imbued with ancient energy that enhance his abilities or unlock new paths and knowledge within Atlantis. 2. Access to hidden knowledge. The victory grants access to secret chambers or archives containing lost wisdom and advanced technologies of Atlantis, offering crucial insights into the city's mysteries and the hero's mission. 3. Reputation and respect. News of the hero's feat spreads, earning him respect among the surviving allies and perhaps rekindling hope for confronting threats beyond the ruins. Possible consequences. 1. Increased danger. The battle may have awakened deeper threats or triggered alarms within the city. New guardians or traps could be mobilized, making further exploration more perilous. 2. Moral weight. The hero might face ethical dilemmas if the victory causes harm to remnants of Atlantean culture or innocent beings connected to the city's legacy. 3. Physical and mental toll. The intense confrontation tests the hero's endurance, possibly causing injuries or fatigue that will challenge him in the trials ahead. 4. The hero stepped into the dimly lit realm of Elysia, where shadows danced and the weight of ancient battles hung heavy in the air. The ground beneath him shifted subtly, warning him that this sacred ground was no stranger to conflict. 5. Suddenly, from the ruins, emerged the first of many foes, ethereal warriors clad in shimmering armor, their swords glowing with otherworldly light. These spirits of fallen heroes moved with unnatural grace, striking with precision honed from centuries of eternal combat. The hero fought fiercely, parrying their spectral blades and delivering swift counterstrikes, each clash ringing like a bell that echoed through the silent ruins. 6. As the skirmish intensified, a far deeper threat revealed itself, a towering colossus of marble and steel, its eyes burning with a fierce crimson glow. Known as the Guardian of Elysia, this behemoth wielded a massive warhammer that smashed the earth with earth-shattering force. The hero dodged and leapt, narrowly avoiding the crushing blows while seeking a weakness in the Guardian's stone armor. 7. Realizing the glowing runes etched into the Guardian's joints were the source of its power, the hero targeted them relentlessly. Each strike weakened the beast, and with a final, desperate leap, the hero plunged his blade into the Guardian's core. The colossus collapsed with a thunderous crash, dust filling the air as silence fell once more. 8. Breathing heavily, the hero surveyed the battlefield, knowing that while this victory was crucial, the deeper secrets of Elysia still awaited, guarded by challenges both mortal and divine. 9. The battle in Elysia had ended, but its echoes reshaped the world and the hero in profound and lasting ways. 10. The once silent ruins now hummed faintly with a new energy, as if awoken by the hero's victory. Ancient forces, long dormant beneath centuries of dust and shadow, began to stir, radiating power and possibility. The hero could feel a tangible shift. Knowledge and technology secreted away within Elysia were no longer locked from the world, ready to heal or to devastate, depending on who wielded them. 11. Across distant lands, whispers of the hero's triumph spread like wildfire, inspiring hope among those oppressed and fear among hidden adversaries who coveted the power of Atlantis. The balance of power tipped subtly yet irrevocably, triggering political shifts and stirring ancient rivalries that slumbered in fragile alliances. 12. Yet victory came at a cost. The land itself groaned beneath the weight of awakened forces. Volcanoes simmered, ocean currents shifted, and strange atmospheric phenomena blurred the boundary between earth and sky. Cities along distant shores braced for upheaval, while communities revered and feared the rising tide of Atlantean influence. 13. The hero bore scars deeper than wounds, burdens of leadership, the heavy cost of choices made amid uncertainty. He wrestled with the responsibility of guarding secrets that could reshape civilization and destroy it if mishandled. 14. Elysia's battlefield had become a crucible, forging not only new power, but new destiny. The hero stood at the crossroads of that destiny, aware that the true battle was only just beginning. 15. After the clash in Elysia, the hero's allies rushed to the battlefield, their faces a mixture of awe, relief, and concern. They watched in silence as the colossal guardian crumbled to dust, the dust settling slowly over the cracked stones and shattered ruins. 16. One of the closest companions stepped forward with a grave expression. "We have never seen such a force. Your strength and courage have saved us all, but this victory may have awakened even greater dangers." 17. Others began tending to the wounded, while some looked anxiously toward the horizon, aware that the repercussions of this battle ripple far beyond the ruins themselves. Whispers spread quickly among the ranks, tales of ancient powers stirring, of new enemies eyeing the hero's success as a threat to their ambitions. 18. A strategist among them cautioned, "This is only the beginning. Alicia's secrets are vast, and with this battle come new risks. We must prepare for what lies ahead." 19. Yet, amid the tension, gratitude and hope glimmered in their eyes. Their faith in the hero was fortified, their will strengthened by his triumph among the shadows of Atlantis. 20. The Allies' immediate reactions balanced celebration with the sober knowledge that the path forward was fraught with peril, and only unity and vigilance could secure the fragile future they fought for. Here is a list of immediate military orders given by each of the hero's allies after the clash in Alicia. 1. Commander Alaron. Secure the perimeter around the fallen Titan's body and establish a forward base camp. Deploy scouts to survey for any remaining hostile forces or environmental hazards. 2. Captain Celine. Organize medical teams to tend to wounded soldiers and civilians nearby. Prepare evacuation routes and communication lines for rapid response. 3. Strategist Devik. Analyze the battlefield for tactical advantages and potential trap sites. Set up defensive formations to protect the team against counterattacks. 4. Engineer Thalos. Inspect damaged structures for stability and identify any active traps or hazards. Begin preliminary work to safely secure or disable ancient Atlantean mechanisms nearby. 5. Scout Lyra. Lead reconnaissance missions to detect enemy reinforcements or patrol movements. Use stealth to gather intelligence on unexplored sections of Alicia. 6. Mage Valen. Cast protective wards around the base area and key strategic points. Monitor magical disturbances that could signal new threats or traps activating. Each ally focuses on their expertise to stabilize the aftermath of the battle, ensuring the safety of their forces and preparing for continued exploration and conflict within the dangerous ruins of Alicia. After the battle in Alicia, the atmosphere among the allies was intense and purposeful, as each received immediate orders to stabilize the situation and prepare for the unknown challenges ahead. Commander Alaron commanded the establishment of a secure perimeter around the battlefield to prevent any surprise counterattacks. He ordered scouts to fan out through the nearby ruins to detect any hidden enemies or dangers that might still lurk in the shadows. Captain Celine prioritized the care of the wounded, organizing medics into triage units and directing evacuations to safer grounds. She also set up communication networks to maintain contact with other allied forces and command posts. Strategist Devik analyzed the terrain, instructing troops to reinforce vulnerable positions and to prepare defensive formations, anticipating further assaults. He also ordered mapping of the ruins for possible escape routes and safe passages. Engineer Thalos inspected the structural integrity of the ancient ruins, marking areas that were unstable or booby-trapped. He led teams to disarm any remaining traps and to begin safeguarding the archaeologically and strategically valuable sites. Scout Lyra went on covert reconnaissance missions, stealthily exploring unexplored corridors and natural passages to gather intelligence on enemy movements or resources hidden within Alicia. Mage Valen cast protective wards across the camp and key strategic locations, establishing magical barriers and sensors to alert the allies of any spiritual or arcane threats. Together, these immediate actions reflected a coordinated effort to consolidate victory while anticipating the complex dangers that Elysia still held in its depths. As the dust settled over the shattered battleground of Elysia, the heroes moved swiftly to follow through on their orders, each driven by a fierce determination to protect what was won and prepare for what was yet to come. Commander Alaron directed squads in fortifying the perimeter, using fallen columns and broken walls as natural barricades. His voice was steady but urgent as he coordinated patrols, the clang of armor and whispered commands echoing through the ancient ruins. Nearby, Captain Celine's medics worked tirelessly, their hands steady as they treated wounds and reassured the wounded with quiet words. Evacuation routes were marked with glowing runes provided by Mage Valen, guiding stretchers and transport units through the labyrinthine passages with safety and speed. Strategist Devik huddled with his officers over hastily sketched maps, calculating the best points to hold and potential flanking routes for enemies who might return. His keen eyes scanned every ruin and crevice, his mind racing to anticipate Elysia's hidden dangers. Engineering teams under Thalos's supervision carefully examined unstable archways and fractured floors. They moved cautiously, disarming traps and reinforcing pillars, their labor slow but essential. Each salvaged mechanism whispered secrets of lost technologies, yet each step carried risks of sudden collapse or ancient curses awakened. Scout Lyra slipped silently through shadowed corridors, reporting back discoveries of enemy scouts and strange symbols that hinted at deeper mysteries still sealed within Elysia. Her reports guided teams to unexplored chambers and precious, untouched knowledge. Mage Valen's magical wards shimmered faintly in the twilight, a protective veil against unseen perils. His staff traced complex sigils midair, ready to warn or defend the allies from spiritual threats that lurked just beyond mortal sight. Amid this flurry of activity, the hero sat briefly on a moss-covered stone, the weight of leadership pressing heavily on his shoulders. The victory was hard won, but the battle had opened more questions than answers. What ancient power stirred beneath the ruins? What price would be demanded for delving deeper? He glanced at his companions, each committed, each vital to the uncertain path ahead. Together, they would face whatever awaited in Elysia's shadows. The war was far from over, but within their unity lay the hope to shape the future from the ashes of the past. The legend of the fall of Atlantis is steeped in both myth and mystery, blending elements of divine wrath, natural catastrophe, and the consequences of hubris. According to the ancient tale told by Plato, Atlantis was once a magnificent island kingdom, surpassing all others in wealth, knowledge, and power. Its people, the Atlanteans, were blessed with advanced technologies and profound wisdom, ruled by descendants of the god Poseidon. However, over time, the Atlanteans grew arrogant and corrupt, abusing their gifts and seeking to dominate not only their own lands, but distant realms as well. Their expansionist ambitions brought them into conflict with neighboring civilizations, notably the ancient Greeks. Despite the Atlanteans' military might, the Greeks and their gods stood firm, repelling their advances in a series of epic battles. Yet it was not the mortal armies alone that would decide Atlantis' fate. The king of the gods, Zeus, enraged by the Atlanteans' moral decay and pride, unleashed a cataclysmic judgment. Terrible earthquakes shook the island to its core, fracturing the earth. Mighty floods and tidal waves engulfed the land, swallowing cities whole. In a single day and night of devastation, Atlantis was broken apart and sank beneath the ocean, lost forever to the depths. Modern interpretations vary. Some suggest the legend reflects real geological events, such as volcanic eruptions, or earthquake-triggered tsunamis, like the notorious eruption of Santorini that destroyed ancient civilizations and shaped early human history. Others see Atlantis as an allegory, a profound cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris, technological overreach, and ecological imbalance. Despite centuries of searching, no definitive archaeological evidence has confirmed Atlantis's existence, but the tale continues to fascinate explorers and scholars alike. The moment of catastrophe in Atlantis was sudden and terrifying. The sky darkened ominously, as if the heavens themselves were mourning. The earth began to tremble violently beneath the feet of the Atlanteans, who had so long prided themselves on their power and glory. Buildings once towering and magnificent shook, ancient columns cracked, and the waters surrounding the island started to churn unpredictably. Citizens of Atlantis, caught between disbelief and mounting fear, rushed into the streets. Children clung to their parents, elders stood in prayer or despair, and warriors prepared for battle against a threat they could neither see nor fight. The gods' wrath was unmistakable, an unstoppable force unleashed in retribution for the Atlanteans' hubris. As the trembling grew into an earthquake of monstrous scale, great fissures tore through the land. The seas, stirred by unseen forces, surged into the island's heart with relentless fury. Waves crashed over walls and into palaces, flooding the grand city and sweeping away everything in their path. The great obelisk, once the pride of the Atlanteans, cracked and fragmented, its crystal light extinguished by the relentless doom. Yet in those final moments, a sense of tragic resignation filled the people, an understanding that their empire, for all its splendor and might, was no match for the cosmic forces it had defied. The island of Atlantis was swallowed by the sea in a single, horrifying day and night, leaving behind only whispers of its existence, a timeless warning of pride, power, and the fragile balance between ambition and humility. The streets of Atlantis, once vibrant and bustling, were transformed into a scene of utter devastation as the catastrophe unfolded. Cracks zigzagged through the meticulously paved stone roads, tearing apart wide avenues and splitting the concentric circles that had defined the city's architectural marvel. Magnificent buildings lay shattered, their marble facades crumbling as pillars crashed down like thundering giants, while intricate mosaics were swallowed by the earth's violent upheaval. In the port, where grand ships had once gently bobbed in calm waters, chaos reigned. The sea surged uncontrollably, waves smashing against the quays with relentless force. Docks splintered and twisted, moorings snapping as mighty vessels were torn from their anchors. Timber and sails were ripped apart, drifting like broken memories on the rising tide, while cargo and goods meant to sustain the empire disappeared beneath the roiling waters. Harbor warehouses collapsed under the strain, their roofs caving in amid the thunderous roar of crumbling stone. Fishermen and sailors scrambled through the destruction, some desperately trying to salvage boats, others fleeing for higher ground, as the ocean continued to reclaim what had once been land. The sound of crashing waves mixed with the anguished cries of the people, creating a symphony of loss and despair. Everywhere, the city's once glorious infrastructure was overwhelmed. Sewers burst, wells overflowed, and fires sparked as overturned lanterns ignited fallen timber. The carefully maintained harmony between land and water was shattered in moments, leaving behind a city fractured and sinking, its greatness swallowed by the unforgiving sea. The central square of Atlantis, once a place of celebration and grandeur, now trembled with a fearsome fury. The earth convulsed beneath the feet of its people as the once perfectly paved streets cracked and buckled like brittle glass. Towering statues toppled from their bases, smashing into fragments that scattered like fallen giants across the plaza. The great central fountain, a masterpiece of gleaming bronze and precious stones, burst apart in a cascade of water that rushed wildly through the fissures in the ground. Around the square, majestic palaces shook violently, sending clouds of dust and shattered marble cascading down their facades. Balconies and terraces crumbled, crashing into the streets below with deafening rumbles. The air was thick with choking dust, mingled with the sharp tang of salt from the nearby sea, carried in by gusts of frenzied wind. A deep, resonant roar echoed from the earth itself, a sound both primal and terrifying, as massive cracks opened, swallowing fountains, mosaics, and entire sections of the square in moments. The pungent, acrid smell of burning stone and broken metals filled the air as the city began to fall apart. From the port, the sea thundered in with overwhelming force. The dock splintered and snapped as colossal waves surged inland, sweeping vessels like toys into the chaos. The salty spray mixed with the smell of burning timber and spilled oils from the ruptured ships, filling the air with a sharp, stinging aroma. Cries of panic rose from the crowds, a mixture of fear, despair, and primal survival instinct, as people scrambled to escape the engulfing destruction. The world seemed to be collapsing around them, the familiar turning into the incomprehensible, a helpless witness to the final cataclysm that sealed the fate of Atlantis. The air hung heavy and oppressive, thick with the scent of sea salt and scorched stone. Every breath felt charged with static, as if the world itself held its breath in anxious anticipation. Around him, the ancient stones trembled and groaned, a low, unrelenting rumble that crawled beneath the skin like a gathering storm. Shadows flickered under the churning sky, and somewhere beyond the edge of sight, the first distant crashes of shattering masonry echoed through the silence. The moment was charged with impending doom, as if the very earth was preparing to swallow the glory of a vanished empire whole. The central square of Atlantis, once a place of celebration and grandeur, now trembled with a fearsome fury. The earth convulsed beneath the feet of its people as the once perfectly paved streets cracked and buckled like brittle glass. Towering statues toppled from their bases, smashing into fragments that scattered like fallen giants across the plaza. The great central fountain, a masterpiece of gleaming bronze and precious stones, burst apart in a cascade of water that rushed wildly through the fissures in the ground. Around the square, majestic palaces shook violently, sending clouds of dust and shattered marble cascading down their facades. Balconies and terraces crumbled, crashing into the streets below with deafening rumbles. The air was thick with choking dust, mingled with the sharp tang of salt from the nearby sea, carried in by gusts of frenzied wind. A deep, resonant roar echoed from the earth itself, a sound both primal and terrifying, as massive cracks opened, swallowing fountains, mosaics, and entire sections of the square in moments. The pungent, acrid smell of burning stone and broken metals filled the air as the city began to fall apart. From the port, the sea thundered in with overwhelming force. The dock splintered and snapped as colossal waves surged inland, sweeping vessels like toys into the chaos. The salty spray mixed with the smell of burning timber and spilled oils from the ruptured ships, filling the air with a sharp, stinging aroma. Cries of panic rose from the crowds, a mixture of fear, despair, and primal survival instinct. As people scrambled to escape the engulfing destruction, the world seemed to be collapsing around them, the familiar turning into the incomprehensible, a helpless witness to the final cataclysm that sealed the fate of Atlantis. Amid the chaos, the hero moved through the crowds, sensing the raw terror and disbelief in the eyes of those around him. Children clung to trembling parents, and elders uttered prayers to gods they feared had abandoned them. The hero's heart ached as he witnessed the fall of a civilization that had once reached for the heavens and soared too close to the sun. But even as the city drowned and crumbled, a flicker of hope remained. Deep beneath the ruins, secrets waited to be uncovered, and a new destiny began to stir. The hero knew that Atlantis' fall was not just an end, but a beginning, a cautionary tale etched in stone and water, warning future generations of the price of pride and the fragile balance between power and humility. The air hung heavy and oppressive, thick with the scent of sea salt and scorched stone. Every breath felt charged with static, as if the world itself held its breath in anxious anticipation. Around him, the ancient stones trembled and groaned, a low, unrelenting rumble that crawled beneath the skin like a gathering storm. Shadows flickered under the churning sky, and somewhere beyond the edge of sight, the first distant crashes of shattering masonry echoed through the silence. The moment was charged with impending doom, as if the very earth was preparing to swallow the glory of a vanished empire whole. The central square of Atlantis, once a place of celebration and grandeur, now trembled with a fearsome fury. The earth convulsed beneath the feet of its people as the once perfectly paved streets cracked and buckled like brittle glass. Towering statues toppled from their bases, smashing into fragments that scattered like fallen giants across the plaza. The great central fountain, a masterpiece of gleaming bronze and precious stones, burst apart in a cascade of water that rushed wildly through the fissures in the ground. Around the square, majestic palaces shook violently, sending clouds of dust and shattered marble cascading down their facades. Balconies and terraces crumbled, crashing into the streets below with deafening rumbles. The air was thick with choking dust, mingled with the sharp tang of salt from the nearby sea, carried in by gusts of frenzied wind. A deep, resonant roar echoed from the earth itself, a sound both primal and terrifying, as massive cracks opened, swallowing fountains, mosaics, and entire sections of the square in moments. The pungent, acrid smell of burning stone and broken metals filled the air as the city began to fall apart. From the port, the sea thundered in with overwhelming force. The docks splintered and snapped as colossal waves surged inland, sweeping vessels like toys into the chaos. The salty spray mixed with the smell of burning timber and spilled oils from the ruptured ships, filling the air with a sharp, stinging aroma. Cries of panic rose from the crowds, a mixture of fear, despair, and primal survival instinct, as people scrambled to escape the engulfing destruction. The world seemed to be collapsing around them, the familiar turning into the incomprehensible, a helpless witness to the final cataclysm that sealed the fate of Atlantis. Amid the chaos, the hero moved through the crowds, sensing the raw terror and disbelief in the eyes of those around him. Children clung to trembling parents, and elders uttered prayers to gods they feared had abandoned them. The hero's heart ached as he witnessed the fall of a civilization that had once reached for the heavens and soared too close to the sun. But even as the city drowned and crumbled, a flicker of hope remained. Deep beneath the ruins, secrets waited to be uncovered, and a new destiny began to stir. The hero knew that Atlantis' fall was not just an end, but a beginning. A cautionary tale etched in stone and water, warning future generations of the price of pride and the fragile balance between power and humility. Yet, as the final wave swept over the shattered city, the hero's vision blurred, and in that fleeting moment of despair, he realized the greatest shock. Atlantis had not truly vanished beneath the waves. Instead, it had been concealed, locked away in a hidden dimension, a realm tethered to the mortal world by ancient magic. The ruins he knew were but a facade, a lure for those seeking doom or salvation. and somewhere beyond worlds, the heart of Atlantis pulsed, still waiting for a future that only the worthy could unlock. The fall of Atlantis remains one of the most profound and haunting chapters in the annals of myth and history, a story woven with grandeur, tragedy, and timeless lessons. As the cataclysm gripped the sprawling island city, its streets shattered, monuments toppled, and the seas swallowed all that had been the pinnacle of ancient achievement. The once vibrant port, hub of bustling commerce and exploration, was reduced to ruin by waves of relentless fury, while the cries of its inhabitants echoed through the fading light of a civilization on the brink of oblivion. Yet, beyond the surface, devastation and mortal despair, Atlantis' end was not the conclusion of its legacy. Beneath the sunken ruins lay dormant secrets, wisdom and power, veiled by the depths, preserved by the ancient magics woven into the city's very foundations. The hero who had borne witness to its final moments understood that this destruction was but a turning point, a gateway to a hidden realm where Atlantis awaited rediscovery and renewal. This tale of rise and fall, of hubris and humility, invites us to reflect on the delicate balance between ambition and responsibility, a lesson as vital today as it was millennia ago. It is a reminder that greatness, no matter how luminous, can be fleeting without respect for the forces that govern our world. As this story draws to a close, may the echoes of Atlantis inspire not only awe for what was lost, but hope for what is yet to be found, within the ruins, within ourselves, and within the endless journey of discovery. And so, as night falls softly over these ancient memories, and the sea whispers its eternal song, it is time to rest and find peace. Good night. May your dreams be calm, your heart steady, and your spirit ready for the new dawn to come.